Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, Smith in the Black here at Sepia Group, and we've got a little lesson in watching the internal. So here's what's going on. We're starting a new week, right? We're still starting off a new month pretty much, and a new quarter. And so what you can see here to start off the week, SPY 2 down, taking out the Friday's lows. So backing off here is the SPY, and so one of the things we saw here in SPY, here's one of the things we look for your setup here. Once it started to dump, right? 2 down by taking out the lows, 2 up, boom. These two become an outside bar of that. Is that something we look for? We certainly do. We also just started off a new 60, right? So we're always going. Every time we get a new 60, it's called the flip. And you can see it open on the highs so far, like we just started. But right now on the 60, the selling pressure is still on. So it was a little mixed bag. The internals were really awful to start the day, so it didn't surprise us to have it come in because you had the QQQ come out right out the chute gangbusters, like they only going to buy all the tech, and boom, there's your 2-2 reversal in the 62 up by taking out previous high, 2 down, and then the follow through puker. How's that 30 looking? There you go. I don't think that was quite inside in the 30, but here was the 2-2 reversal 32 up, 2 down, and then no higher highs ever since. If we go to the Dow Jones, diamonds, now you got an inside 60. So diamonds starting to stabilize, but they were weak right out the chute. Right, you can see the industrials are really weak, and so if you're watching the internals, it wasn't a surprise that the market started to sell off because you saw OIH getting hit right out the chute with the XLE, FAS doing this. Look at this. Any surprise that this market turned around? No. And so right now you can see the financials doing this FAS. 2 down by taking out the lows, 2 up. Now, boom. See if we can take this out here and go become an outside bar of all that, right? If they really want to start slamming these things. Another thing that I've showed you over and over again, and I'm going to show you again, is that you don't really need charts to know what's going on in the market. You just need scans and know how to use it. So if you go here and you look at the scan, you're going to see this. First things first, we can go to the weeklies, right? Who's taking out last week's highs? Last week's highs, you got Apple and a host of nobodies, right? Oracle, so we had some tech, crowd, Amazon, so we had some of that big cap techers, but they've been backing off ever since. So if we take a look here at some of that stuff, you'll see here, crowd here came out gangbusters. Still might stabilize because it's higher than it opened, right? That's what we want to know about. So anytime this is going green again, you do have full time frame continuity to the upside. If you got Apple, and Apple, you can see this off the inside 60 comes right back in, but a new green 60. All right, so it's still green on all time frames as of now. So this is why you watch the flip. If it's going to start going back up, that's what it's going to look like right here. But you can see it's backed off significantly with the market. But not the end of the world for Apple just yet, because if you look at these 3 months, these previous 3 months, they were inside of the previous 3 months. It's an inside quarter to the upside. So as long as it's higher than last quarter, we're still going to be keeping an eye on this Apple, right? If you go to Amazon, and Amazon holding up tougher. You can see that it's backed off for an hour, but as soon as you get that new hour, now it's full time frame continuity to the upside. Green, 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 right? That's something you'd want to know about and why you watch for the new 60. Here was your corrective activity by taking out the previous low, and then as soon as we go green here, full time back to the upside. If we go to, like I said, watching these diamonds on the inside 60 here. Now trying to take that out to the downside, we've got Cat doing this, taking out last week's lows inside week to the downside. You can see the difference here. Now, Cat inside in the 60, potentially red on all time frames, full time frame continuity to the downside, right? So kind of watch these internals. It looks like things are just trying to stabilize here just a tad. If we go to Netflix, here, Netflix trying to stay green on all time frames as well and trying to take out last month's highs. That's what we want to know about. Anybody taking out weeks or months or days to the upside. So if we go back to our scan, now you'll see this. What does the downside look like? Taking out last week's lows. Ford, Bank of America, CCL, Tesla, American Airlines. So you've got financials, Citicorp, Bank, Wells Fargo. Then you've got the energies, Oxy, Exxon, right? Taking Slob, taking out the low. So you can see where the weakness is when you just scan through. And you can see it's much more pronounced. Now you got United Airlines, American Airlines. So you've got transports coming in. All right, and then AMAT, anything that was weak in the tech, we want to know about because they came out strong right out the chute. So if we go to like XLE taking an inside week to the downside, potentially more trouble here if you can take this out, 52.29, right? That would be taking out a 2-2 reversal on the month, and you can see right out the chute getting hit. If you go to crude itself and UCO, you can see this 2-2 reversal week here and UCO below 76.87, right? So there's where your trouble lies. So now I want to see if we get the inside 60, see if these things try and stabilize, but still things are pretty heavy. So if you go to Wynn Resorts, and once again you can see this. The last 3 months, 1, 2, and 3, were completely in the previous 3 months. That was an inside quarter to the downside, taking out 4 months of lows here, right? That's something I'd want to know about, and that would tell me to look at LVS here. So LVS, beautiful measured mover here. This is what a measured move looks like. It's down, it goes inside to consolidate, and then wham, second wave. And so what will happen is you have some aggressive selling. Anybody buying in here? I'm hoping for a bounce play. Guess what happens? Now you got your seller sitting right here, seeing if he can get some better prices, and boom, he steps down, and everybody who bought in here gets stopped out, and that's what a measured move looks like. That's why that happens. If we go to IBM, and IBM right now inside on the 60, but once again, here, the inside month pokes up, boom, there's your Rev Strat month, right? And you combine that with the Dow Jones, and you got what you got here. Puke, right? So SPY, still skirting the lows, still red on that 60. Now the question is, can we take this month red? The opening was 428.87, so you got some more distance on that for full time frame continuity to the downside. If you go to HFC, and the energies, once again, these 3 months, we're inside of these 3 months. That's an inside quarter. It's also an inside month to the downside. Here, couldn't take out the highs or the lows last month, and boom. Now inside month and down, and inside quarter and down below 32.47. And that tells you just go down the line. Valero, going for the reversal month. Inside week and down. PSX, refiners, having some troubles. Now PSX gets in trouble here, below this shooter. 84.10, you're almost there to make things a little bit worse, right? You also got when you have these energies doing what they're doing, like everything's taking out at least Friday's lows. That's when you want to go to the triple Nurgu, right? Get some more bang for the buck. You can see this thing just getting pounded, right? So you have any good ways in on this 15er, then you wait for the corrective activity or the measured move style. Down, inside, inside, and then boom, right? Inside, up here on the 15er, there's your corrective activity. Boom, right here below that. 2 up by taking out the previous high. That's Rev Strat. Inside bar, 2 up, 2 down. Below 167.38, trading 164.48, still going. Gets into more trouble if you can take out this monthly low, 154.68. If we go to Baba gap and puker after another gap and puker on Friday. And so a slight higher high on the week. Then boom, these two are going to be coming outside week of that. And if that works, you're going after the inside month here. Below 208.22 gets in more trouble. Right now, going inside and down on the 15-minute right here. How's the 30 looking? There's your inside 30 right here, and another one. Still puking. Baba. If you go to, let's take a look at Tezlers. And Tezlers, They got them good in here, right? So whenever you see like a tight range like this, more often than not, they take out both sides because price discovery is starting over as a broadening formation, a higher high and a lower low. It's also taking out last week's lows, right? Tried to take out the month and now coming back through Tesla's. So if you go to here, Tesla, the 312 Chicago, outside bar, inside bar, real move. Boom, into the lows she goes. Tesla's. All right, SPY trying to stabilize here. So oftentimes when you get like one of the broader averages to go inside on the 60, like the diamonds, that means you got some stabilization in the market. That means you might get it in the other things. SPY, maybe an inside 60, we'll see. QQQ looking like an inside 60 in the next hour. So that's oftentimes when patience comes in. You're like, oh, I want to do something. I'm like, hold on, man. Just let them go inside. If we go to play another one of those taking out 3 months of lows. All right, it's not totally getting killed, but that's definitely something I want to know about. If we go to AYI, look at that daily. Perfect, just like the Tesla 60. The outside bar by taking out both sides of the previous range. The inside day, the boom, give me measured mover 312 Chicago, right? Here, the outside week to the downside, inside month to the downside, and now inside on the 60. We'll see if we get some follow through out of that. If we go to Disney, speaking of the Dow Jones, Disney, inside week to the downside. It would go worse if you can get this month. Inside month to the downside below 171.31. All right, so you got a little bit more room on that, but we'll see how that goes. Keeping an eye on these broader averages. XLE going to the lows. Energy's in all sorts of trouble here. XLE still going. Inside weekend down. Once again, going after that. YH here. So once again, let's go back to the scans real quick, because we can tighten that up a little bit. What I mean by that is we're starting a new week, right? And so what that means is anything like on the dailies that's taking out Friday's highs or lows, right? That's got continuity, right? On the first day of the week, 3 of the 4 major time frames start over, right? Your daily, weekly, and 60 start over. Only the monthly remains, right? We just started the month. So let's go to the daily scans here and see what we're looking at. Who's taking out Friday's highs? Apple, we know. WB, Oracle, Nvidia, okay, CrowdStrike, Amazon, all that kind of stuff we know because they also were taking out weeklies. For the downside, once again, you're going to see how heavily this is. Bank of America, Oxy, X, Citicorp. Let's go look at some of these financials real quick, because what we knew about the financials, it had a lot of inside weeks. Potential RevStrat Bank, Bank of America, inside week slightly takes it up and now boom, takes it out. Wells Fargo here, inside week to the downside, right? This is all in the weekend video, right? Citicorps we got. How's JP Morgan? How you doing, buddy? JP Morgan here, inside bar, goes up. So right here, JP Morgan would help on the downside here. If you can get it below 152.12, you're not quite there yet. Like I said, market's starting to consolidate just a tad here, so we'll want to see how the follow through goes. So right now, as I speak, we also have airlines having problems here. United Airlines going after last month's lows. Inside month, slight poke up, now coming back through this stuff. That's potentially a pretty big problem, because you look at all of them. American Airlines having issues as well. So transports, IYT inside week takes out the highs, and now here IYT gets into more trouble below here, 257.67. And if you watch the macro vid over the weekend, here's where the transports really get in trouble. Just like I'm showing you, those inside quarters to the downside. Let's take a look. Okay, so you can see like Apple, inside quarter to the upside, right? Wynn Resorts, inside quarter to the downside. And if you go to the transports, you're going to see this. Potential 2-2 reversal on the quarter and the transports. If you can take this out below here, 254.65. You're not there yet, but that's what's a level I would definitely want to know about. So right now, just consolidating after a morning sell-off. Still going down at this point is the energies. You've got the small caps going to the lows too, and small caps here have some room as an inside quarter. But to start off the week, if we go back to the small cappers, you're going to see this here, getting clobbered after Friday's outside day, inside week to the downside. So always going to be monitoring who's taking out the highs, who's taking out the lows. Right now, we got those internals were just awful in the morning, and then they finally took over. Few pockets of strength in the tech, but we'll see. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith. This is Black here at CP Group.